Alright, this on? This on? Bet. Hello, my name is AJ the One. This will be one of the first of many what ifs that I want to do. I want to try and get this YouTube channel off of the ground. And to try and make it into something better, bigger. Pause. I don't know. But please like, subscribe. I want to get this channel and to start doing some things. I know I just sort of started off strong, fast, very direct. And also I want to make more unique what ifs, because whenever I do try to find some what ifs, it's all mostly the same thing over and over. So I've decided, why not start off with something unique? What if Izuku was a Belmont? So to start this series off, to start it off, Belmonts are a family that hunted monsters, vampires, in a game called Castlevania. They hunted Dracula. The main character is called Richard Belmont, and he killed Dracula. But that's basically the summarization of all of Castlevania. Belmonts are families that hunt monsters and vampires. So after this point, to basically mix them into the My Hero universe, vampires and monsters of that such have existed but do not anymore. So because of this, it would be common knowledge that the monsters have existed before, but most of the Belmonts and over time, the monsters have just simply died out. So because of this, the Belmonts will be a household name. So like even kids like Katsuki know who Belmonts are. Even Miria would know what the fucking... Well, it would be a shock that Miria would. But if you're a person who... unless you're a person that grew up like Inosuke, you know who the Belmonts are. So Izuku will be very... not famous, but he'll be very well known. But to start with Izuku's birth, Izuku would be born inside of a plantation-style home. I am black, so I can make, not the quote-unquote argument, but I can say these things. It doesn't help any better that Izuku is white, two, Asian, and also has a whip. So, doesn't help us all that he's being birthed inside of a plantation home, but the homes look really nice. So Izuku would be born inside of a plantation home and would basically proceed to just be born. Izuku would be born, and when he would be born, Inko would mostly take care of him. But before a certain amount of time, Inko would hire private tutors to teach Izuku how to read, to write, how to do math, science. And also Inko would mostly, take care of him, play with him. She would still be a good mother, but she would mostly focus on his problem-solving skills. So after a little while, this just being Izuku would be around 4. Izuku's problem-solving skills would be around the same as a 7-year-old's. His math will be around the same as an 8-year-old's. And his reading and writing will be around the same as a 10-year-old's. I don't know if, or better to say, or how many words that he knows. He would know as many words as a 10-year-old would know. But and his penmanship will also be very well. But when Izuku would be 4 years old, his mom would take him out to the quirk doctors to go get his quirk evaluated. Also, another thing, this plantation home is also very large. It would have a ginormous yard in the front, a ginormous backyard, and then just trees for miles. So it would take him an hour and some change to finally get to the hospital. When they did, Izuku's quirk would be evaluated as holy water. This quirk just simply allows him to sort of produce a sort of liquid-like substance that basically burns people depending on how many sins they have committed or how bad the sins are. So if Izuku were to proceed to just touch All For One with this liquid, All For One would go in All For One's chest would be in so much, or wherever Izuku touched All For One, it would be in so much pain, and it would just feel like he's right next to the sun, as it will always be a burning sensation. It won't be like stabbing, and like it won't differ between the person. Well, it doesn't matter who he touches or how the substance gets onto them. It'll always be a burning sensation, and depending on how bad the sins you have committed are, differs between the burning sensation. So, for example, Izuku could throw some holy water onto All Might. It would be like, this sort of sting a little bit. It sort of burns. If he were to throw it into All For One, All For One would feel like he's, like I said, like maybe even in the middle of the damn sun. But it can't kill them, though. It can't kill anybody. That's the thing about it. If you were to be, quote-unquote, put on fire by this, you wouldn't die. It can't kill anybody. No matter how hot it is or how it feels. You cannot die from it. So, anyway, after Izuku will get his quirk evaluated, Izuku would spend around 1 more year basically just getting privately taught. As after a little while, Inko would finally send him to an actual school, because Izuku is just by himself. The only form of entertainment that he has is the TV, the maids, or his mom. And he hasn't really met any other human beings besides the doctors. And the only other human beings that he's seen are the ones that are like out in the world whenever they go to the city for anything, and that's not too often. So she would send him to a normal school. This school would not be a very prestigious or fancy school. It would just be the school that Katsuki went to. So when Izuku would get to the school, the teachers would ask Izuku to introduce himself to his class. Hi, my name is Izuku Belmont. When Izuku would say Belmont, people would be in shock. And also some would be confused. Some people would be like, he's a Belmont? Others would be like, Belmont, that sounds familiar. But nobody would be as shocked and in awe as Katsuki. As Katsuki would be very educated on Belmonts and the previous sort of quote-unquote lore or their history about them. So because of this fact, when Katsuki would see Izuku, he would be almost ecstatic to finally see a Belmont in person. So when this would happen, so basically, while Izuku is continuing to introduce himself, his likes, dislikes, hobbies, things that he wants to do when he grows up, become a hero. And, when it was finished, people would begin asking, like, is he actually a Belmont? Are the Belmonts the monster hunting family? Izuku would confirm this, that he is a part of that family. And the kids would be truly astonished that he is. So, after this point, it will be basically smooth sailing for Izuku. He'll have a bunch of friends. One of his main friends will be Katsuki. And he'll basically be living more like of a kid than anything. But this all changes when Izuku is, how old I said he was? Right, it was a year, so he's 5, so he would be 6. Izuku would be 6 years old when his mom would end up signing him up for gymnastic classes for him to be more agile, and also for him to learn how to use a whip, or to basically get the beginnings of to learn how to use a whip. Like on how gymnasts will often use the ribbon. That's also sort of incorporation into a whip, just less heavy. Talking about the whip is less heavy than the ribbon, but Izuku would sort of be cautious about doing this because Inko wouldn't just put him in some bummy gymnastic class. It would be sort of like It was sort of be like down the strip of many stores that you would walk in, like the main area of the city. So like it would sort of be like a really tall building slash it's like store slash apartment. No, like the bottom of it would be a store. It would be a really nice store. It would have like it would have the glass door, the bell over top, the name and the name and the number, and like in the glass window that's like the really large glass window that's on the side of the door. So it would look like a really casual and basic store. And like I said, it's in the main area of the city. So most of the kids that he knows that he goes to school with will walk through that area. Or if it's any other weekend, because he has them every day, they'll possibly walk through there and see him. So because of this, Ezekiel will be a little bit more cautious about going to these classes and even participating in them. But Ezekiel would have fun though. So after a little while, he wouldn't even see that many kids walk through his area, and if they did, they wouldn't even be paying attention enough to see them, and to even look inside of the window. And if they did, Ezekiel would be unnoticed. So after a little while, Ezekiel would just let his guard down. As this is the part where he messes up. So one day, Ezekiel would have his guard down, as he would be in class. So, before I continue on, I have never been to a gymnastic class ever in my life, so I don't know how to even explain this. So the best way to put it is, Ezekiel would be asked to do a certain number of flips and to basically demonstrate on how he uses a ribbon. Ezekiel will do the flips, and when he uses the ribbon, it would look sort of girlish on how he used it. Like I said, it would look sort of girlish on how he used it. So when he finished, Ezekiel would look sort of outside of the window, as he would see Katsuki and two other random boys all laughing. But one of the boys would have their phone out, and they would be recording. As soon as they saw Ezekiel look at them, they would be laughing and then run off. Ezekiel would sort of look in almost shock and fear, as he would basically end up like grabbing his clothes, like he would end up dropping the ribbon, running to the locker room, putting on his clothes, and running out and basically running home. And like I said, his home was very far away from the city. Like it took them an hour to get to the hospital. So Ezekiel isn't running too far. It'd be like around 16 minutes. As this is when Inko, no, not Inko, one of the butlers or maids, it doesn't really matter. One of the helpers that Ezekiel would have would basically be driving to come and pick him up. They would see Ezekiel like running across the road, as they would be confused, as they would drive, like as they would honk their horn, pull over and tell Ezekiel to get in. As they would ask what happened, as Ezekiel wouldn't really say anything, as he would just be curled up in a ball, not crying, but just highly embarrassed and confused. Not confused. He would just be like, "Oh my God, no." So Ezekiel would end up going home. Inko would basically be ready to bake cupcakes for him. I don't know, bro. She would just be ready to do something fun with him. But when Ezekiel would get in the house, he would run up to her, give her a hug, and start crying in her arms. Now, I said he wasn't crying in the car, but now he is, because he sort of realized the severity of the situation. As Inko would be confused on what happened, as she would sort of look at the butler who drove Ezekiel home, as he would shrug his shoulders, as he didn't know what happened either. So Inko would ask Ezekiel what happened, as Ezekiel would explain what happened. He was doing his gymnastic class, but when he looked outside the window, he saw Ezekiel and his friend. He saw Katsuki and some of his friends recording him. As Inko would be confused, like, what's the problem with that? Like, he was using his ribbon, that's girlish. As Inko would look at him some type of way, like, just because you used a ribbon doesn't make you girlish. Now how you used it might have been girlish, but no, not at all. But Ezekiel would still say, like, when he goes to school, they're gonna bully him. Inko would simply just look at him and say, what people think and say about you doesn't matter. Unless they mean something to you, their word and what they say should not matter. Izuku would sort of listen to this, but also not listen to it. He would like, oh, okay. But at the same time, he would still be scared to go to school and get bullied. The next day, and for the next 4 months, Izuku would be getting bullied by everybody. Because, like I said, the kid would be recording it and then would show it off to his classmates. So, after a little while, most of the kids would be verbally, like, insulting him, basically just talking shit. But, like, some people wouldn't care. Other people would just sort of be like, oh, okay, that doesn't really matter. Others would sort of acknowledge, like, oh, okay, that's cool. You're gymnastics, you can do that flip. That flip was cool. But then there's a majority of the class who bullies him, calling him a girl, all others such. But they will mostly just be verbally assaulting him. Katsuki will be putting his hands on him. Katsuki will be blowing up in his face. Pause. Katsuki would be more like of a stereotypical bully in this situation. Like out of anything, Katsuki would basically be like, so say that Izuku would be walking in the cafeteria to get his lunch. And let's just say he would have his tray in his hand. Katsuki would just smack this shit out of his hand and not even say anything. Katsuki could be like talking to one of his friends. They would be walking. He would see Izuku. He wouldn't even mind that much attention. But as soon as they pass Izuku, whack, right of his hands, and then continue to walk. But while walking away, he would also berate Izuku. So, one day, Izuku would be on the swing, sort of sad, as Izuku would be swinging up and down. As Izuku would be swinging on the swing set, Izuku would be going fairly high. So, at this point, Izuku would be swinging up into the air, like really high, and then swinging down, back, going backwards. When Izuku would be swinging forwards again, Katsuki's hand would fly in front of Izuku's face, and he would shoot off a really large explosion. This would basically send Izuku flying off of the swings. Not only hurting his legs and ankles, but he would also get an explosion to his face that he didn't see. So he would be launched off of it. He would also get slammed into the ground because of the pure velocity that he was going and the sheer power of the explosion. So Izuku would sort of almost like a cartoon character just sort of flop on his back like in an instant. And when this would happen, Izuku would be sort of confused and he would also be in a lot of pain. So he would sort of like do the kiddish thing, like he would get up really fast crying as he would let go of his face to see what even happened, but the swing would immediately crack him in the middle of his nose. As Izuku would end up falling on the ground again. As Katsuki and his friends would be laughing, some other kids would be sort of not disgusted, but be like, bro, that was way too much. What are you doing? But Katsuki and his friends wouldn't care. They would just be berating Izuku and all that other such. Izuku would also get up quickly. And basically the swing would be coming back from him from behind, and Izuku would just simply stop it. Just like catching it, and then would look at Katsuki with pure fury in his eyes. He knows exactly why Katsuki did that. And Katsuki and him were friends, so he's confused. But he doesn't care. He immediately rushes at Katsuki throwing a punch, which Katsuki just dodges and shoots an explosion in his stomach. As this would basically happen for a little while, Izuku throwing out punches and kicks, Katsuki just dodging and shooting off explosions. So while Izuku Izuku would basically pretend like he's throwing a punch, like in one direction, but then quickly stopping his punch, making Katsuki sort of like. So basically, Izuku was gonna throw a punch. Katsuki was gonna Katsuki was gonna try move his hand to smack Izuku's punch out of the way and blow him up at the same time. Izuku would stop his punch short, so Katsuki would just shoot off an explosion and move his hand, leaving himself wide open. And Izuku would quickly just use his other hand to uppercut Katsuki, or give him a right hook, basically. And when this would happen, Katsuki is sort of disoriented. So Izuku would quickly just punch Katsuki again, sending him to the ground. Izuku would try to run over, but one of Katsuki's friends, friends would proceed to just knock Izuku back from Katsuki. As Katsuki would get up and push the kid that helped him out of the way to run up at Izuku, as Katsuki would shoot a large explosion into Izuku's chest, sending him flying back and hitting the back of his head into one of the poles that forged the swing set. So while Izuku was sitting there, Izuku would sort of get up sort of disoriented, as Katsuki be sort of berating him like, man, you being a Belmont and all, you sure are weak. Your quirk isn't even good. It's just sludge. You girl. Oh, that's Katsuki. So basically, after this point, Izuku will proceed to like, oh, it's just sludge. As Izuku will quickly run up to Katsuki and just like throw a copious amounts of holy water onto him. As Katsuki be like, why does it burn so much? Why does it burn? And while Katsuki is confused, Izuku will give him a swift kick to the nuts, because Izuku is 6. That like he knows that's the main weak spot. So that's his immediate attack point. After this point, he would punch Katsuki in his face and then start just like pouring all the holy water onto Katsuki. But this does hurt Izuku because this makes the pores in his skin burn. If you know what pores are, they're just like little holes all across your body. Yeah, you have little holes all across your body. If anybody didn't know that who was watching. Anyway, pores. That's where the holy water is coming from. And Izuku's pouring a lot of it out of it, and if he overuses it, his pores start to burn. But downsides or backfires aside, Izuku would just be pouring copious amounts onto Katsuki. And Katsuki would be burning up like crazy. But it doesn't leave any marks or anything on Katsuki though. Like it doesn't even leave any bleached marks, burn marks, nothing of that sort. It just burns. It sort of feels like whenever you bite into something really hot on your tongue, like if you eat something spicy, and then after that you swallow it and it goes down to your stomach and your stomach begins to burn, sort of like that. But at this point, Izuku will be pouring so much on it, but again, one of Katsuki's dick riders friends would proceed to end up pushing Izuku off of Katsuki. And while Izuku tried to run over to try to beat up the other kids, they will proceed to just sort of push Izuku back constantly while helping up Katsuki. When Katsuki will finally get up, all 3 of the kids will begin to beat down on Izuku. Until one of the teachers will come out and break up the fight. The kids outside that saw everything would basically explain what happened. Izuku was simply just as they were all said as, wow. Most of the kids would say that Izuku was talking crap to Katsuki while he was swinging, while Izuku was on the swing set and was talking crap to Katsuki. So because of that, Katsuki came over and did all of this. Izuku fought back, and then all of this happened. Most of the other kids agreed because they're just haters on Izuku because he did something. Because he did something girlish, so they bullied him. And when they saw Katsuki get beat up, they're like, "Man, we're dick riders, so we can't do that. We're part of the dick rod gang." I don't know how many times I could say that until I get demonetized. I don't think I can even get demonetized. I just gotta make this not for kids, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, Izuku would basically proceed to but actually no. Some kids would be saying that it was Izuku, but other kids would mostly be saying that it wasn't Izuku. Izuku was just minding his business, but Katsuki came over and started messing with Izuku. The teacher wouldn't know who to believe because it's 2 different parties saying the absolute opposite thing. So the teacher would just listen to the majority,
who's just saying one thing, and that would be the kids who are saying that Izuku had started it. So the teacher would basically be like, okay, Izuku, you're in trouble. We're calling your mom, blah, 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 but go to the nurse. Katsuki, they wouldn't say Katsuki is scot-free, because Katsuki sort of did do too much. But yeah, he would basically be almost scot-free. But they would still send him to the nurse, though. After a little while, Izuku would end up going home. And Inko wouldn't be upset at him, because she know that he didn't start it. How does she know that? Because W moms know that you don't start for no reason. Anyway, playing with a toy gun. I'm that bored. At this point, what was it? Right, Inko would take Izuku home, and from this point on, she would transfer him out of that school and put him into a karate class. But there's not really much else to talk about at this point. She would transfer him out of that school. She would have him homeschooled for about a year. They have him go back to the regular school. And after that point, it would be a more fancier, more prestige school, since those I'm gonna do my best Karen voice. Hoodlums. I can't do it. Them hoodlums. Inko basically see his ass like them little fucking hoodlums touch my son. Anyway, that's what she sees it as. So because of that, she would send him into a more prestige school where where Izuku would get not praised, but Izuku wouldn't get bullied at all. So since there's not much else to talk about, we would skip to when Izuku was 14 in a very fancy junior high school. Junior high school, yeah. Just be junior high. Yeah, junior high school. Yup. It would be a junior high school. AKA middle school. AKA middle school before high school. Or the in-between. I don't know why Japanese people have junior high. That doesn't even make sense. But anyway. Izuku would be there and the teacher wouldn't even do the same thing. The teacher wouldn't throw up the papers in the air. He wouldn't say like, I would pass these out, but I know you all want to be heroes. No, he would still pass them hoes out. He would pass them out. The kids would still confirm it. And the teacher would also say some of the kids that they want to go to the hero course. There'd be some kids that want to go to Shiketsu. There'd be some kids that say that they want to go to the school that the school that Miss Joke works at. I don't remember what that high school is called though, or that hero school is called. But some kids will say that school. Izuku will be the only kid in his grade to say that he wants to go to UA. So because of this, you know, some kids would sort of praise him. Other kids wouldn't really care or be negative at all to it. But a big change about Izuku is that he doesn't really trust people anymore. You know, like he doesn't at all try to make friends, and he doesn't at all trust anybody besides his mom or any of the maids or butlers that works for his mother. Because all the kids that he thought were to be his friends end up turning out just to betray him at the first sight of him being quote unquote different. They're racist. Let me stop. So because of this, Izuku wouldn't really have any friends since then. He would not have any friends. But Izuku would still be a friendly person though. But baby, at this point, it would be the 10 months. The 10 months will begin to start. And well, after also, don't even think about what this picture means. It's just, we're just gonna say that this red thing, that the red cloak, Inko made for him. This is his hero outfit. We're just gonna ignore what this implies. We're gonna assume. No, we're going to make it canon that Inko made this for Izuku, and this Belmont canon. It's not what you think. Anyway, moving on. Right, so over the 10 months, Inko would basically be training the hell out of Izuku. Teaching Izuku how to use a whip, how to throw an axe, how to how to basically use his holy water, how to use his quirk better, and how to use a sword. Peep how I said throwing an axe, and we have Smash Bros. Belmont. Crazy. That's how original I am. Right. I'm not gonna use the video games abilities. I'm gonna use Smash Bros. Abilities. That can tell you how long it's been since I've played a Castlevania game. But anyway. Damn, right. Izuku will basically be trained how to use a whip and how to throw an axe and how to use a sword. And basically Izuku basically decided to just put his holy water in glass bottles and then throw them at people. Yeah, really original, right? But because of this, or not because of this, so after this point, Izuku will not be very good with a whip. He'll be decent. He won't be like midnight level. But he's really good with a whip compared to most people. People just swing the whip forward. Izuku knows how to use it, at least. The sword is one of the best things that Izuku has. And he knows how to throw. He can throw an axe. And wow, I'm stuttering so hard. And finally, he can throw his holy water really well as well. So, after the 10 months are over, Izuku will end up going to the UA entrance exam. And after a little while, he wouldn't even run into Katsuki. At all. For the entire duration of it, he wouldn't even run into Katsuki. Izuku will actually be recommended. Actually, fuck that shit. No. I feel like Izuku will be recommended. He's not only A Belmont, B, his quirk is also very good for villains. He would be recommended, honestly. So because Izuku would be recommended, he would be in the same like training area that Momo, Todoroki, and the Wind guy. I don't remember how many people were recommended, but I know Todoroki and Momo were one of the two people in Class 1A that got recommended. But and I remember one guy, I forgot his name, like wasn't it like Tsunami or something? I don't remember, but the one guy that goes to Shiketsu, he was also recommended for UA, but he didn't go because of Todoroki. But basically, no, the best way to put Izuku's personality in this case is if you ever seen the Castlevania anime, he's mostly like richer, that version of richer. But like that's the best way to put it. Like that's the best way to put Izuku's personality. He doesn't have the British accent though. That's not a thing that he has. He just acts like richer from the anime. Since I'm pretty sure Castlevania comes from Japan. My heart was broken when I figured out that Mario came from Japan. I'm like, damn, America still hasn't made anything on their own. Sheesh. But back to the story. What was it? Right. So because of that, right, where was I? Exactly. Izuku is in the entrance exam, and everything that they did in there, Izuku would do really well, I guess. I don't know how to really put it. I don't know what they did in there. I know that they had a race, and Izuku would do very well as well. Also, Inko would work out Izuku. You know, Izuku would do workouts. But also after the incident where he got figured out for doing gymnastics, he would also still continue to do gymnastics. He wouldn't stop. Oh, so Izuku would be very flexible. So, anyway. Moving on. Izuku at this point, I'll say it would be the next day after he would go to the entrance exam or the recommendation exam. Izuku would basically would go into class and proceed to just look around. He would see, basically what he would see is a kid with multiple arms, one kid with very big lips, Sato, Todoroki, Soji, Mineta, great bald head, okay. He would look over, see some blue-haired kid yelling at, oh, okay. Izuku would just continue to move on and look away, not even bothering to even acknowledge Katsuki. He would see for him the Yayarozu girl. He would see Momo, who he recognized from the entrance exam. He would who else is in? He would notice mostly everybody, a pink-skinned girl, but the last person he would notice is a girl with rabbit ears, dark skin, and white hair talking to the pink-skinned girl. She's like, okay. A very odd section of class. As yes, Miracle is not only A, the ship, but B, she's also 15, 16, around that range. Well, no, Izuku only turned 16 in the manga. I mean, yeah, he would be 15 now, so Miracle would be 16. Why do her teeth look like that? Jesus Christ. Anyway, Izuku would basically look around and see all of this as soon as he would step into the room, step 2 feet into the room, or 2 steps into the room, Ida would immediately run over and be like, hello, my name is Tenya Ida. What is your name? Izuku Belmont. Izuku would put out his hand to shake his hand. But as soon as he said this, Izuku wouldn't even, well shit. Since I'll say he's basically just Richer from the anime, I don't even know if Richer would even say that. Would Richer even be like, oh yeah, Izuku Belmont. Yep, that's me. Yep, Nah, I think it would just be like, oh. No, yeah, yeah. Even though he does have mostly the personality of Richer, I don't know if it's Richer or Richter. I'm gonna just say Richer, boom. Because it's Rich, E-R. Because, well, no, isn't it a T? Fuck. Because of Richter, boom. So basically, Izuku would end up saying like Izuku Belmont. As Ida would be like, oh, you're a Belmont, I see. I'm very. What is he? I'm very glad to be working with you, or to be your classmate, something like that. I'm very glad to be even in the same class as you. As Izuku would say, yeah, sure. As Ida will also be like, as Ida will also say that you and I aren't very much different. As the Tenya, right? That's his first name. As the Ida family is also a family full of heroes. As Izuku was sort of smirk at this, like, that's cool, I guess. Okay. As Izuku would just be nonchalant, not even caring really. As he would just be ready to start. As Uraraka will also appear behind Izuku and say hello. Who are you? Or basically saying like, hello, is this class 1A? Because the door would still be slid open, or it would already be open when Izuku opened it. So Uraraka wouldn't be able to notice if it was UA or not. As Izuku would turn around and say, oh, yeah, it is. As she would say, oh, that's cool. My name's Ochako Uraraka. What's yours? Izuku Belmont. As the introductions will be the same. As Aizawa will also still say the same thing. If you're here to make friends, then leave. Blah, blah, blah. What about orientation? I run the class how I see fit. Yada, yada, yada. Take these uniforms, go outside. Yada, yada, yada. Also, Katsuki would still get first. Katsuki wouldn't even say anything. Katsuki would say something to Izuku. He'd be like, so they let you in. I don't know why. You're just so useless with that little sludge quirk you have. Izuku wouldn't even listen, but he would like flick his finger. But he would like flick his finger to launch some holy water onto Katsuki's arm, and it would burn. As it would burn, he'd be like, what the hell? As he wouldn't leave any scars, as he would say, as Izuku would simply just look over at him like, If Sludge can do that much to you, then you have no chance of becoming number one. As Katsuki would get pissed at this, is like, what did you say, nerd? Or what did you say, you? I don't know if Katsuki would say. Oh no, yep, that'd be funny. What you say, you trans? I don't know how many people that'll offend. If it offends you, well, leave a comment, I guess. What you say to me, you trans? Katsuki would say, as Izuku would simply just walk out. After a little while, Katsuki would end up going first for the ballroom. When this would happen, oh no, my screen keep turning too much. Boop. Anyway, Katsuki would go first for the. No, yeah, I'm just gonna have to go over all the training stuff. I'll probably. All right, bet. I already know what I'm gonna leave off. So Katsuki would go first for the. No, I'm just gonna talk about Izuku. Honestly, I might talk about Mirko, but she's already in here. We all know she's not gonna do what she. We all know she's not gonna do bad. Izuku for the ball throw. He would just basically ask Aizawa for one of his scarves. He would ask Aizawa for like one of his scarves. Aizawa would look at him confused as Izuku would just stare at him blankly like, can I borrow one of your scarves for a second, please? Aizawa would look at him. He would just basically take one of his scarves and say, sure. Izuku would sort of wrap it around the ball and then start swinging in a circle and then throwing it off. And then throwing it off into the distance, only getting around 126 meters. Right? It was meters or kilometers. It was one of those that was used. Izuku would get around that much, not too bad, but not too good either, But even if Izuku were to get last, Aizawa seeing Izuku do something like that, just not only with his cloth, A, but also B, him not even having a physical strength quirk, because Aizawa would know what his quirk is. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, for the standing long jump, Izuku would almost clear the box. He'd be like, around like an inch or two away from clearing the box. All of his bodily functions. Let's see what else is there. The relay, not the relay race. The race. It would be Izuku and Katsuki. Izuku would try to calm himself. But when Izuku and Katsuki would start running, Katsuki would be shocked and surprised on how fast Izuku is. If you ever played Smash Bros. And if you ever played against a Fire Emblem character besides Ike or Robin, you all know they do that fucking tiptoe run. That's basically what Izuku is doing right now. He's doing that fast ass tiptoe run. So after this point, Katsuki will also try to, amp up his explosions, and Izuku and Katsuki will finish around the same time. Katsuki would sort of get upset, being like, how did you do that, nerd? How did you do that, you trans? As Izuku would just simply ignore him and walk off. The grip strength test. Izuku would get about as much as Mirko. For the what else is there side to side jumps, Izuku will do a little less than Mineta. I'm pretty sure they do on how much you can do, like counting. So Izuku would do about, since he does do gymnastics, I'll say he would get about 106. Mineta would get 200. No, not 200. Holy shit. 106. Mineta would get like 112. Fuck it. And for the final marathon relay race, I don't know what it's called. I know a relay race is like passing from stick to stick. So for the final like marathon running that they have is the for the marathon running, it was all of them running at once. I think Todoroki would be the one to win that. Izuku would come like 5th place, Mirko 3rd, Katsuki 2nd. What did I say? Izuku 5th, so now we need a 4th, Ida. Shit. Well, shit, no, I think Ida might even get first. Fuck. Anyway. Izuku would end off on 15th place. Izuku would be like, oh, no. Oh, no, I feel like Izuku would be the singular digit. So Izuku would get like 5th or 6th place. But after this point, Izuku would also basically just begin to walk home. Izuku wouldn't try to get friendly or chummy with anybody. As the only time he would start to do that is during I want to say lunchtime, but that feels so like kiddish. Like, oh yeah, during lunchtime, Izuku like during their off period, Izuku will try to like start a conversation, try to get to know them. But right now, nope. He's just gonna do his shit, go home, and then tomorrow. So I know that they didn't. Shit, did they have that? Yeah, they did. Yeah. So basically, during their off period or their lunch period, it'd basically be most of their class sitting together at this point. It would be like most of them all in one section of it. It'd be like, I think they have like really long ass tables for like each class to sit in. So Izuku. So basically, Kaminari. So it would basically be Kaminari and Ida be looking over like, no, it would be Kaminari, Uraraka, and Ida calling Izuku over. Like, hey, Izuku, we're all over here, come on. Izuku will look over. Oh, well, might as well go over. Shit, bro. I'm looking to watch Castlevania again after this point. Yeah, after this, I'm gonna watch me some Castlevania. But anyway, Izuku was walking over, as he would end up sitting down right next to Kaminari, as everybody else would sort of be having their own conversations. Right. Basically, everybody else would be having their own conversations and proceeding to Right, everybody else will be having their own conversations, having a quote-unquote good time, eating their lunch. Izuku will have, I don't know what he would have, some food. As Kaminari, Ida, and Uraraka will be asking a plethora of questions. Has he ever seen a dead monster? Has he ever seen a monster? No. Have you ever seen a dead monster? No. Do you want to see a monster? That would sound cool, but no. There'll basically be questions all similar to that. And after a little while, Murako will end up walking over to say hi to Uraraka. I don't know if it would be a long table or if it would be like certain like booths or sections for each lunch table. I don't know, because we've seen both. So I'm gonna just say it's like little booths that hold up to 6 people. There's only 4 people, so 2 more people can walk over. But Murako will basically be like, oh, hey, Uraraka, what are you doing over here? Uraraka would be surprised. Uraraka would be like, oh, hey, Murako, as Murako will end up sitting over. As Uraraka and Murako will be sort of just talking amongst themselves. As Ito also not butt into the conversation, be like, oh, hello, my name is Tanya Ito, what's yours? I think her name is like, no shit, I said, oh, hey, Murako, fuck. What is her real name? It was like Rumi? I don't remember. I know her name is like Rumi Yashigate? Something like that. I know her last name starts with a Y. But like, my name is Tenya Ida. What's yours? My name is Rumi Blank. I don't remember. I'm gonna search it up when I'm done. But after no, I'm good. Alright. But after this point, after a little while, Murako will also be asking Izuku similar questions. But then after a little while, they were all just having a conversation, and this will be the first of Kaminari, Rumi, Uraraka, Ida. Yep, 4. Yep, that's what I thought. So you know, this will be the first of 4 of Izuku's friends. As Izuku doesn't see them as friends, he just sees them like people he can communicate with. He doesn't see them as friends, just people that he can communicate with. But after a little while, Izuku and his friends will end up getting back to class, as All Might would bust in the room and say the same thing. I think it's called like, what is it called? The little test that they had for hero class or for hero training. Yeah, it'll be that test. The villains and the bombs. So basically start off with Izuku's hero outfit, because we're just gonna skip over to that point. Izuku's hero outfit, bam. I've already said it. Boom. This is Izuku's hero outfit. Imagine a whip on the other side right there. The axe and some of the whatchamacallits on the back belt. On the back side of the belt. So a sword on one side, a belt or a whip on the other side. And on the back of the belt would be an axe and 4 vials of his holy water. Oh well, it's bodily functions. I've been listening to some Pistol Pete a little bit last night. It's just stuck in my head. Anyway, you should go listen to Pistol Pete. He's a W goat. Anyway, back to the story. Izuku. Yeah. Yep. That's how I want to do it. When Izuku would walk out, he would be greeted by Denki and Rumi. By Denki and Rumi, or Kaminari and Rumi. Shit, I can't say Denki because people don't really know his name. People just call him Kaminari. I don't think so. Yeah, he would be greeted by Kaminari and Rumi. So after this point, Rumi will basically be like, Izuku, that outfit's really cool. Where's the also the back of the little cloak / cape has the Belmont crest on it, and so with the front of a shirt. Also, the main reason why I chose the red cloak. I know it's Katsuki's from the little medieval OVA thing, original video animation, I think it was. But like, it's the closest thing you can get to Richter's cloak, and it's like, it's meant to be a Deku X Bakugo. I don't want it to be. I just wanted Izuku having the cloak, so we're not gonna think like that. But yes, the cloak will have the Belmont crest on it. But Izuku will end up chatting with Rumi and Kaminari for a little while, until All Might would finally end up announcing the teams, or basically announcing the rules and the teams. There'll be 2 villains and 2 heroes. There'll be a team of villains and heroes. The villains will go inside. Also, just to state this, Mirko will be replacing Invisible Girl. Just had to state that real quick. Also, something else. For anybody who watches this, let me know if you want to see any other Belmonts that are Izuku's age, but come from a different country. So like say that there's some Belmonts in Germany, America. It doesn't matter where. Because I know Pony is an American, or is an American transfer student. If you don't know who Pony is, she's from Class 1B. But anyway, if you want to see anybody else from that's a Belmont to come to UA, just let me know, and I'll add them in. But anyway, back to the story. Izuku's team will be the same. It'll be Uraraka and Izuku against Katsuki and Ida. Izuku will be almost near ecstatic. Katsuki be like, "Oh yeah, time to beat on this trans again." As Izuku would just be scheming something devious in his head. He's diabolical. As after a little while, Katsuki and Ida will end up going into the building to quote unquote to make a quote unquote plan. Katsuki's plan: run in, throw explosions. Boom, that's Katsuki's plan. But Izuku will have an actual plan, and he will forge it with Uraraka. He already knows that Katsuki's gonna come for him first. So his plan is for Uraraka to basically just stay a few feet behind Izuku, So when Katsuki comes after him, he can quickly pin Katsuki and then try to follow him. Actually not no. Like I said, Izuku's problem solving skills and not only just strategies type skills. I feel like he would do something more sophisticated than that. So what I'm gonna say is that Izuku, that while Katsuki is walking past Izuku will turn around and bump Katsuki's shoulder on purpose. As Katsuki would sort of turn around and be like, "You got a problem, you trans?" As Izuku wouldn't even turn around and would continue walking off to conversate with Uraraka. Katsuki would get extremely pissed off at this and try to run over, but Ito would quickly grab his shoulder and tell him that it's not worth it. As Katsuki would just smack Ito's arm off of him, and they proceed to keep walking. What Katsuki didn't know is that Izuku spilled some holy water down when he bumped into Katsuki's shoulder. So when Katsuki took a step, his entire boot became sort of like imprinted with holy water. Both of them are. So only one of them though. So Katsuki would just basically be leaving a trail of blue. And just to make it a little bit more easier, it's a luminescent in the dark, or it glows in the dark. Basically, it's a luminescent. So yep, boom, it glows in the dark. That ball is about to leave functions. So because of this, Izuku still staged up the same plan. Uraraka is gonna stay behind him. Uraraka is gonna stay a few feet behind him. Katsuki is gonna come up. After that, he's gonna quickly pin Katsuki, and Uraraka is gonna follow his trail. Boom, easy way to figure out where they are. So this will all basically play out the same. Izuku's hand will be ready on his whip. As soon as Katsuki comes out, he would dodge the explosion and throw his whip, smacking Katsuki across his face. You nit. Let me stop. Oh shit. I don't think I'm the right person to be making these jokes. I am black, but like, I don't know if I can even make these jokes on YouTube. Damn it. I was about to say something crazy. Anyway, Izuku will throw a quick whip, will whip Katsuki across his face, sending it almost disorienting Katsuki. But while Izuku will pull his whip back, he would end up wrapping the whip around Katsuki's like Katsuki's arm before it like became gauntlet. Before it became gauntlet, damn, my stuttering's crazy right now. It would wrap around Katsuki's arm before it sort of became the gauntlet where Katsuki's arm is, but it would just wrap around his arm. As he would pull Katsuki towards him, and after that, just headbutt him across. Pull Katsuki towards him, as Katsuki would trot, but expect Izuku to throw out a headbutt. Or, actually no, to throw a punch. But what Izuku actually did was let go of Katsuki's arm with the whip, and then sort of spin it to smack Katsuki across the face, disorienting him again, as this is when Izuku would actually throw the punch into right across Katsuki's chin. So I just bam, right across the face. As this would sort of disorient Katsuki, like I said once again. And he wraps around his arm, he unravels the whip, smacks Katsuki across the face with the whip, sort of basically stunning Katsuki, punching Katsuki across the chin, and after that, punching Katsuki across the chin, after that, grabbing Katsuki by his hair and slamming him into the wall. After that, delivering a knee to Katsuki's hip. Then after that, delivering a knee to Katsuki's hip. Now go Uraraka. Would he yell? Uraraka. Would he yell Izuku, as Uraraka would just follow Katsuki's trail. Katsuki would shoot off an explosion behind him, trying to get Izuku. As Izuku would just kick off Katsuki's back and hit a backflip. Would kick off Katsuki's back, and he would just simply do a backflip and then land. as he would land, but then end up almost falling back, slamming his back against the wall, but getting up afterwards. As Katsuki would get up, well, look at the trans actually fighting back a little. Izuku wouldn't say anything at all. As he would just stare at Katsuki. Why aren't you saying anything? Say something. Izuku would again stay silent. As he would get a smirk across his face. Well, why are you so tempted to get me to speak? It's not that serious, is it? I'm just a simple trans. I'm just a simple trans, right? Why do you want a trans to speak to you so badly? That leaves me with some suspicions, Katsuki. As Katsuki wouldn't really catch it at first, but Izuku just basically called him gay. As Katsuki would say, "What did you say to me, you trans?" Katsuki would put his arms back to launch forward at Izuku. As Izuku would sort of smirk and then would wrap the whip back around his hand and then sort of roll out of the way. And then after that, unleashing the whip right back at Katsuki. Katsuki would sort of roll out of the way. Izuku would end up grabbing the holy water from behind him and then splashing and then smacking it against the ground, but almost in front of Katsuki. It was sort of like ignite into flames. It was sort of like burst up like it's flame. As just a pure sensation of it would make Katsuki just back up. Would just jump backwards. As when this would happen, Izuku would end up running off. Basically getting covered by the flames. Since it's so bright as well, like I said, it glows in the dark. It's not only bright, it made Katsuki back up. Made Katsuki back up and it's basically just covering up Izuku. So Izuku would end up running backwards and running behind the hall where Izuku and Uraraka originally came. As Izuku ended up running away and basically cutting the corners. Cutting a corner to basically try, what's the word? Ambush Katsuki. I don't know why I made those noises. Ain't shit happen. As the holy water would die down, Katsuki would sort of just look confused as what just happened. As he would then proceed to realize that Izuku was gone. He would like, "Come out here, you trans bastard!" As Katsuki would just sort of just going around blowing up room to room, or blowing up door to door. Until one second when Katsuki was just stomping down the hall, confused. As out of nowhere, he would hear a whistle behind him. I can't whistle. Boom. As Katsuki would turn around quickly, confused. But then all of a sudden would get like the bottom of Izuku's hilt right to his nose. As Katsuki would turn around, as Katsuki would like retcon what I just said. When Katsuki heard the whistle, he would turn around and sort of turn around and be like, you think shit, what would Katsuki say? "Quit messing with me, you damn trans," as Katsuki would turn around. Katsuki would turn around to talk some more crap. When Katsuki's leg would get wrapped up by the whip and then slammed onto the ground. And after that, he would quickly pull his whip off of Katsuki's leg and then run off again. Katsuki would slam his hands onto the ground and look behind him, seeing Izuku's cape just like flow. It's like sort of like wrap around the corner quickly. As Katsuki would use his explosions to blast off. Blasting off again! To quickly blast after Izuku. After a little while of Katsuki just seeing the cape run like from corner to corner. Katsuki occasionally getting hit. But while Katsuki was sort of like blasting down one corner, he would get hit from behind. He would get hit from over top by a whip. As Katsuki would look up being confused, as he would
as he would look behind him, seeing Izuku's cape quickly fly behind him. Katsuki, being even more confused, would then proceed to run that way. Then after that, getting hit in the hip, the arm, face, stomach, leg. Wherever Katsuki looks, Izuku's always the opposite way. And he doesn't know what Izuku is doing. What Izuku is doing, he just memorized the hell out the maps and is now just basically just playing with Katsuki. Katsuki is almost like a puppet in this situation. Katsuki is doing everything. Izuku might as well have gotten future sight, because Katsuki is doing everything that Izuku expects him to. As even in one situation, Katsuki would see Izuku standing at the end of the hall with all of his weapons away, and his cloak just basically wrapped around Izuku. As the cloak basically just wrapped around Izuku, only showing like a little bit of his front belt, of course the pants, the boots, and a little bit of the whip and the sword. Also, it's not a chain whip; it's just a normal whip. So Katsuki will quickly using his whatchamacallits to blast down the hall. Ezekiel would sort of just sit there waiting until he would end up rolling a holy water bottle out of. It was so. God damn, I'm stuttering. It would sort of be like Ezekiel was just standing straight up, looking at Katsuki. Katsuki would blast towards him. Ezekiel would sort of will hold out his hand, and then the holy water bottle would roll from down his arm out of his hand in front of Izuku. After that, Izuku would stomp on the holy water, basically causing it to sort of shoot up in a burst. And then how Izuku stepped onto it, it would be sort of like you stepping on like a sprinkler that comes out of the ground at the pool. You would step on it, you would put your foot in front of it, and it would shoot forward. Katsuki, seeing this, would sort of use his explosion to shoot sideways beside Izuku, and Izuku would casually just duck. And then after that, Katsuki would get a swift punch to the face while Izuku was down. So it's basically like Izuku saw Katsuki doing this, he basically just weave, beam from the same. As Katsuki is on the right side of Izuku will quickly throw his punch from the right on his right side. What time is it? Okay, but after this point, Katsuki would just be upset as Katsuki's face would end up smacking against the wall as Izuku would be gone again. And after a little while, the continuing like whipping from like the mysterious whipping as Katsuki can't see it will happen again and again, over and over. And until one second, Katsuki would see Izuku's cloak sort of like fly past him. And after seeing the cloak pass by, Katsuki would run that way, as him also getting extremely heated. But after a little while, he would hear like the clanking of metal and say, "Oh," and here you can say, "Ah, shit." As Katsuki would quickly blast over, thinking that Izuku messed up. As soon as he sees and as soon as he sees the cloak and runs over to it, to where it would basically be like at the end of the corner again, as it would only be like a decent chunk of the cloak sort of sitting out. Katsuki would blast over and try to blast at the wall, basically hitting against the wall where he thought Izuku was. So basically Katsuki would see the cloak at the corner. It would be peering out of the corner. Katsuki would shoot forward towards the corner. He would pass the corner and then basically shoot an explosion off where he thought Izuku was. Izuku would not be there, and Katsuki will quickly get the like. Katsuki will quickly just get. I don't want to. Fuck. Yeah, Katsuki would simply just get. Katsuki. Damn! I'm wasting all this time just stuttering. Izuku would launch the whip, basically wrapping around Katsuki's neck, as Izuku would step on the whip, sending Katsuki down to the ground. Sending Katsuki down to the ground. Katsuki would quickly fall to the ground, but shooting an explosion at the whip, expecting it to burn, but it doesn't. After this point, Izuku would stop stepping on the whip and lift and grab it, and then tug Katsuki towards him. This would end up hurting Katsuki's neck as Izuku would end up sort of lifting up his leg and kicking right into Katsuki's back. And after this point, Izuku would let the whip free from Katsuki's neck, Katsuki would get sent flying. Katsuki would get sent flying from the kick, as he would end up landing flat face first. Katsuki would quickly get up in a rage and turn around to see Izuku still sitting there. Izuku would run at Katsuki and sort of let out like a few whip attacks. Katsuki simply just blocking them, dodging them, but some would hit. As soon as Katsuki got in Izuku's face, Izuku would sort of would pop off the top of the holy water and sling it at Katsuki. Katsuki, out of pure like he's felt this so often and it hurt it so much that he just sort of instinctually just stops and try to dodge out the way. Izuku saw this coming and Katsuki gets another kick to the side of the face. Izuku would launch his whip forward, grabbing not only the axe that he threw to basically make the cloak go that way, he also ended up grabbing the axe as well. As he would pull both of them towards him, he would grab the axe out of the cloak, put it right back where it was on the back of his belt, and then wrap his cloak back around him. You think this is funny or something? You keep just avoiding and hitting me from behind like a coward, would yell Katsuki. Izuku just basically looking back like, it's not a cowardice thing to... Well, is it really that cowardly if you're falling for it every time? You're falling for it every time? Honestly, does it make me a coward if you're such an idiot where you can't figure out a simple trick? As Katsuki would get even more heated. What did you say, you damn trans? As Katsuki would launch off at Izuku again with even more fury in his eyes. As Izuku would draw his a dull sword, as he would end up using it to block Katsuki's explosion. Katsuki would throw a right hook at Izuku, which Izuku did not expect. As it would hit Izuku on his arm. Right, Izuku's arm wouldn't be out. Izuku would use like both hands to sort of block the sword. To use the sword to block the explosion. Katsuki would throw right. So it just hit Izuku in his hip, as Izuku didn't expect this. So what Katsuki did, so after this point, Katsuki would throw another explosion at Izuku's face, which Izuku quickly ducked. After that, swung his sword to hit Katsuki on the bottom of his chin. I turned it big colors, yeah. As it would hit Katsuki on the bottom of his chin, as Katsuki would sort of stumble back a little bit, Izuku would quickly begin to swing again and again at Katsuki. Katsuki would sometimes dodge or block it, but this is all a part of Izuku's magnificent plan. So after a little while, Katsuki and Izuku would sort of go back and forth. Izuku will also end up pulling out his whip as well to sort of long range or sort of to almost zone Katsuki with his whip. After that, coming in close with his blade or with his dull sword. Izuku will end up getting a real sword. Yeah. I'm gonna say during the what is it called when they I forgot. Right. When the damn, how did I forget what it was that fast? When Izuku goes to yikes. When internship. Damn. When Izuku goes out for the internship, he'll get a real sword. But basically Katsuki
Basically, Katsuki would constantly get zoned, and after a little while, Katsuki's other gauntlet would glow. As Katsuki would stop. But Katsuki would try to pull out the pin, but Izuku would just throw out another whip attack at Katsuki, sending him further and further into the corner. Or further and further back, until Katsuki is basically pinned between like two walls, sort of like almost a dead end. So it's two walls, and after that, just behind him is a window. And behind Katsuki is just a window. So what Izuku does, as Izuku continues to basically almost corner Katsuki, until Katsuki hits the back of the window. Katsuki sees what Izuku is going to try and do, or try to just corner him and dwindle him down. Until Izuku would finally, until Katsuki would finally shoot out a very giant explosion, what Izuku was not ready for, end up hitting Izuku's, launching him back significantly. Katsuki would launch towards Izuku, sending a blast into his stomach, and then throwing Izuku back at the window where Katsuki was. Izuku would slowly get up, seeing where the window is. And at this point, Katsuki would sort of look at Izuku, sort of smiling. You want to know something, you trans? I've been saving something for a little while. As Katsuki would end up pulling, sort of like where the pin is on the fake grenade, he would end up pulling that back. He would basically be readying the gauntlets. As Katsuki would be explaining, as I don't think if you remember this, but my quirk, I sweat nitroglycerin, which allows me to shoot off explosions. What this is, well, this stores up all my sweat. So I'm pretty sure someone as smart as you can tell what's gonna happen. As during this, Izuku would end up using his communication piece in his ears. He would ask, "Yo, Uraraka, where's the bomb? I need to know the information fast. Where's the bomb?" As he would hear Uraraka on the other side panting, like, "It's on the top floor." As Izuku would be confused, like, is it Ida just is Ida beating you up? I'm confused. As she would say, no, he's just running away with the bomb. As Izuku would simply be like, okay, bet. Katsuki would pull out one of the pins. As Katsuki would pull back one of the pins and basically aim at Izuku, would be like, "Now, die, you trans." All Might will be telling Katsuki not to do it. As Katsuki wouldn't say, well, he won't die if he dodges. Izuku technically could dodge. And also his Belmont crest thing is fireproof. I must say, just because Katsuki doesn't seem like a complete dickwad, Katsuki knows that it's fireproof, so Katsuki be like, well, because he's so smart, he should have made his Belmont crest a little bit more should have made it real fire resistant, more than it already is. As Katsuki would just end up pulling the pin. As what Izuku does, Izuku would end up kicking off of his feet and launching himself out the back of the window. As when this would happen, Izuku sort of would throw his axe up at one of the as honestly as high as he can, as it would end up embedding itself 2 floors below the top floor. God damn. As what Izuku would do, he would quickly grab his whip, throw it up at the bomb, or throw it up at the axe, or sort of launch at the axe and grab onto the axe and pull himself up. Actually, no, he would swing across to basically avoid the giant explosion and sit and sort of like use the whip to almost repel himself up. So it's like he throws the axe, he wraps the axe around it, he swings, and then stops himself at a certain point, and then starts using the whip to sort of pull himself up. As Katsuki would be confused, like, where the hell is he? As Katsuki would realize that Izuku jumped through the window, but he doesn't know where Izuku is. Katsuki would quickly end up running over to look out of the window as he would see Izuku rappelling up to the second floor. As soon as Katsuki would see this, he would end up pulling back his other pin and aiming the explosion right at Katsuki. Izuku would immediately be right next to the window, but Izuku would try to do something better. Izuku would end up as Izuku would end up never mind. Izuku would basically just kick in the window, grabbing the axe and the whip, and then jumping through the window. As Katsuki would be about to pull the pin, but he sees Izuku is gone, so he would just use his explosion to follow after Izuku. As something that as soon as Katsuki walked into the as soon as Katsuki got into the whatchamacallit, into the I guess it'd be the 2 floors below the top floor, Katsuki would see glowing blue footprints across the floors. Katsuki would be like, when he stepped onto his thing, it left off footprints. As Katsuki would basically be seeing this, as he would end up following it. As Katsuki would end up following it. Katsuki would end up following it into a room, or following it into one of the rooms. Katsuki will open up the door and see that the glowing footprints basically just stop, seeing that Izuku was in here. Katsuki would assume that he's only 1 or 2 places, either behind the door or over top of him. So Katsuki would basically end up backing up, pulling back the pins on his grenade, and boom, letting off that giant explosion off into the room, basically destroying it. As Izuku basically only thought Katsuki was just gonna let off an explosion to break into the room. Izuku was gonna use the door as almost a shield and then slam it into Katsuki. But nope, that didn't happen. It happened in a more extreme way than he expected. As Izuku would basically be laid out across the floor, but only thing that's really protecting him is the door and his cloak. So Izuku would quickly just end up throwing the door off of him and try to get up, but Katsuki would throw a giant explosion at him, almost launching him into the ground again. Izuku would throw a rock at Katsuki, but Katsuki would just use an explosion to slap out of the way. As Izuku would quickly end up using to back up. Katsuki would be staring at Izuku almost like a bull seeing red. Oh, what's wrong now? You don't have anything else to do? As Izuku will sort of be looking as Izuku will look almost confident. Well, yeah, you got me there. Can't really think of much else to do. Izuku will sort of say while smirking and shrugging his shoulders. But he will also have his whip in his hand, so he'll sort of be shrugging it with the whip in his hand. And also lifting up his arms I don't know. Almost like the DK I don't know time. So Katsuki would say, "Don't try to act sarcastic with me, you trans." As Katsuki would shoot his explosions off to launch at Izuku. Izuku will basically end up shooting off a whip to smack at Katsuki, but Katsuki would end up flipping over the whip with the explosion, stomping on it, basically snatching it out of Izuku's hands. As then Katsuki will also end up using his explosions to launch at Izuku again. Izuku not really knowing what to do. Izuku would just basically spend the time mostly dodging and moving out of the way. And after a little while, Izuku, while running, would basically end up asking Uraka how much time do they have left. Uraka would say 5 minutes. Izuku realizing that he needs to get back his whip, so he would end up basically leading Katsuki on a wild goose chase. He ended up running down one of the hallways to wait, shit, what did I say before? Right, yep. He ended up running down one of the hallways and ended up turning one of the corners. Katsuki would see that there's another hallway that would lead to that area, so Katsuki would end up running down, end up blasting down that hallway. As Katsuki, where he thought Izuku was going to be, Izuku isn't, as he's confused. As just like before, Katsuki would get a whip right into the back. As this would severely piss Katsuki off, like how he could fall for the same trick twice. Izuku, like Katsuki just fell for one of the most oldest tricks ever. Just run down that one way. They don't see you. Fake them out. Run down the other way. And Katsuki fell for it. And by the time Katsuki thought where Izuku was gonna be, Izuku wasn't. So now Katsuki is sort of just sitting there confused as he realizes that he needs to hurry up and beat Izuku because they only have 5 minutes left. As Izuku was also realizing that he needs to hurry up and beat Katsuki because Uraka's tired and they also only have 5 minutes left. As Izuku realized that his original plan is just not going to work now. So Izuku just needs to find an even smaller room, which he leads Katsuki into. Basically, after just jumping back, hitting Katsuki with whips, dodging out of the way, throwing Katsuki around a little bit with the whips. Katsuki would end up just ducking as Katsuki would end up sort of, damn. While Izuku and Katsuki are fighting, Izuku ended up jumping inside of a room. Or basically, Katsuki ended up kicking Izuku inside of the room. Katsuki ended up shooting off at Izuku as Izuku was simply just duck under the speeding bullet that is Katsuki. Katsuki would end up using his other hand, which is coming close to Izuku, to shoot off an explosion to hit Izuku. Izuku would get hit by it. But what Katsuki doesn't expect is that Izuku also grabbed his leg or his ankle. So Izuku ended up getting hit by the explosion, but will grab Katsuki's ankle and basically almost slam him into the ground. As he will also end up jumping back. Katsuki would end up getting up from getting slammed onto the ground and would look at Izuku ferociously. Again. As Izuku will sort of look smugly like this. Jeez, Katsuki. Jeez, Katsuki, you're staring at me so hard. You're staring at me so hard and you call me a trans. As Katsuki would get severely pissed off as he would be like, you know what? I don't even care if you die. As Katsuki would end up charging one of the probably biggest explosions that he could probably come up with just pure hands. Not even the grenade that he could try to muster up. As Izuku would end up just staring at Katsuki. And at one moment, Izuku would just end up Izuku would end up throwing his axe at Katsuki. This being a very deadly axe, as Katsuki knows that from the velocity that he just threw that shit at. He ain't just gonna shoot an explosion at that shit's gonna stop. So Katsuki would end up dodging out of the way. Basically rolling over. As Izuku would end up sort of slapping both of the gloves that Katsuki has. Basically causing a cutting into them. But when he cuts into the glove with the whip, he will also end up cutting Katsuki's hands pretty deep as well. Katsuki would scream in pain. After that, he would run over and knee Katsuki into the face. He would knee Katsuki in the face, uppercut him, and then punch him in the stomach, and then sort of shoulder bash him into the wall. After that, he would headbutt Katsuki, and then he would headbutt Katsuki while he's against the wall, and sort of fall back, and then fall onto his back, and then kick Katsuki backwards into the air. Or kick Katsuki backwards. He would roll over and grab his axe, and then basically run over at Katsuki. Katsuki only slowly getting up, as he would end up seeing. As soon as he would get up, he would immediately see black, as Izuku would just slam his axe into the side of Katsuki's head. He didn't kill him. He just used the flat side of the axis to beam. It's a double-sided axe as well. He would just beam right across his face. As Katsuki would be knocked out, as Izuku would wrap up Katsuki in the capture tape, as he would end up quickly getting up to go after to help out Uraraka. He would as he would realize that as he would end up pick up Katsuki's gauntlet and shake it around, as he would realize that it has enough. As he would end up putting it onto his arm and then run back and then run up. As he would end up grabbing it and then running up to help Uraraka. Uraraka would be severely tired on her knees on the ground. As Ida would basically be like, you can't win, brah. But as soon as Izuku would run in, Izuku would basically be running in, as he would tell Uraraka that to make this light, and when she can, as he would end up giving Uraraka some holy water. Actually, no, fuck that shit. As Izuku would just be like, hell. So Izuku would just end up running past Uraraka towards Ida, as Ida would end up basically dodging out of the way. As Izuku will basically realize, so it's like this then. So after this point, Izuku will basically end up using he would make sort of like a hole within his hands. So he would sort of like ball up his fist very close tight, but would end up loosening up two of his fingers to shoot off the like a concentrated projectile of this holy water. So Izuku will basically shoot off her concentrated projectile and then throw a whip launch at Ida. This will basically, as Izuku predicted the hell out of Ida, as soon as Ida would run that direction, he would slip and fall over. And Izuku would end up grabbing the holy water from his back, from the last bottle of holy water that he has, open it up and then sling it into Ida's face so Ida can't see. After that, Izuku would just proceed to basically beat on Ida, as he would end up wrapping Ida into his up in his whip. As Uraraka would end up running over and then touch the bomb. Hero teams win! And that's where I'm going to leave this off. I know I sort of left it off on a cliffhanger. It was a long ass fight. But I feel like this is where I should leave it off. It's been about like an hour and some change. Please like, subscribe. Let me know if you want a part 2, Really trying to just get this channel off the ground. I'm just trying to let my creativity flow. I don't know why I'm so weird. Like I've said before, I'm going to ask this for the 3rd time. I'm going to be one of them YouTubers. Like and subscribe now. Like and subscribe now. Please. And you'll have 5 years of good luck. Boom. Something like that. Thank you. Have a nice day. Comment for any changes. Or comment for a part 2. Or I might just make it anyway if you don't. Or forever sees this. Have a nice day.